Welcome to the Brian Craig Show podcast. My name is Brian Craig, and this is where MAGA comes to talk. And we have a lot to cover on the program. There's some major updates on this attempt to inspire a military coup against our favorite president, Donald Trump, and much, much more. I've been talking for the last week that there's been updates on this every single day. That there has been we're in the middle of a deep state coup to bring back the Bush family. In fact, there's more stories today. Some of them are on my X at Brian Craig Show. You can go check them out about the Bushes making plans to come back into power. And the Republican establishment, they don't understand Trump. They don't understand the MAGA movement, and you know what? They never will. And they think that the MAGA movement will fade away when Trump is no longer in office. And this Bring Back Bush operation, I was telling you guys, began with the assassination of the late, great Charlie Kirk. And all these things, the Marjorie Taylor Greene, the Nick Fuentes Tucker, all these things and other things that I'm not going to go through the whole list right now. If you follow me every day and listen to my program every day, you'll hear me talk about them as they happen. This is all part of a deep state plot for the establishment, the permanent Washington class, to regain control of the country, which they've lost because of the MAGA movement. Here's an article in Trending Politics. Bush family plots to regain control of GOP after Trump leaves office. There's something that's been going on since yesterday on X. Elon Musk made a major update to X, which shows you, when you go on X, it shows everyone's country of origin, and which can be turned off. And it's being exposed like madness that many of the so-called MAGA people that have turned against Trump, that are griping about grocery prices or supporting Marjorie Taylor Greene or whatever the issue is of the day that the Never Trumpers are pushing, that these are fake MAGA people that are not even based in the United States, Canada, Japan, Kenya, all over Asia. And these fake bot accounts are being updated as fast as possible by the people, but we're finding out that X, they've been, one of the things they've been doing in this Bring Back Bush operation, the deep state, is trying to create a narrative that MAGA people are upset with President Trump and turning against him. Right? Oh, hey, we're America first. He's not America first. I mean, this is insane. And what Elon Musk has done, exposing how many of these so-called MAGA people that have turned against Trump are based in other countries, shows how fake they actually are. Now, they're saying, oh, no, I'm using a VPN. Why would you be using a VPN from Canada or Japan or Kenya or, China or something like that? Come on. Nobody buys that. These are bot farms that are out there. And some of these are pretty big X accounts. And everybody will be talking about this as the days go on. It's going viral on X and has been since yesterday afternoon. I'm not going to go through that right now. I'll probably talk about more of it during the week. But so much of what we're going through is part of this Bring Back Bush deep state establishment plot. And as I said, they don't understand the MAGA movement. They don't understand President Trump, and they don't understand those of us that are supporting him. By the way, I will be taking calls. If you're watching live, you're welcome to call in. The number, if you're watching live on YouTube, the number's pinned in the live chat. It's 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you are listening from. 888-465-2631. And I've installed and rearranged my master control room in front of me. Yesterday morning's podcast was the first time I used it. So things are in different locations than they were, and buttons are in different places. So, I've got all that muscle memory with things I do. So it's a little disorienting for me because I got to go against my muscle memory for how I operate everything here. But I'm starting to get used to it. I'm retraining my muscles to have some new memories. So anyway, if you think about people in your personal life, right? People in your personal life. How many people in your personal life are MAGA? Everyone in my personal life is. What's a crazy thing about this and the MAGA movement is I've run into friends and family that I have not seen for 20 years or more, and I don't talk to them, and they're MAGA too. Out of your friends and family, those of you that are MAGA, out of your friends and family that are MAGA, how many of them do you know personally who have turned against Trump? I can say with 100% accuracy, in my case, it's zero. I do not know a single person in my friends or family orbit that were MAGA at any point. Now, that doesn't mean that they were MAGA when Trump came down the escalator, but once someone becomes MAGA, they don't go back. Becoming MAGA, the reason we talk about red pilling is because you wake up out of the matrix and you're seeing the world, the real world, for the very first time. And I could, now again, I get calls from people that make that claim, but they're liars, okay? They're liberals, fake MAGA. Marjorie Taylor Greene, obviously, there's a lot of financial interest with that, millions of reasons, right? But I don't know a single person in my private life that's a friend, a family member, or a coworker who was MAGA who has turned against President Trump. Not a single one. So, I've known that this trend that they've been trying to push on us, that MAGA people are fed up and turning against Trump, is a lie. I understand that. But now we have proof of it because of what Elon Musk has done on X. And those of you that are on X, you've been seeing this develop since yesterday, and it's amazing. What Elon has done us a good solid in the MAGA movement on this, a good solid thing. And I'm wondering if that's why he did what he did with this latest update on X. Maybe it is. And fake MAGA is being purged. Now, a lot of these fake MAGA people and bot accounts are working hard to turn things, to make it look like they're in the United States and things like this, but they're not. And it was amazing. It was almost like, red pilling is when somebody becomes MAGA, right? They've woken up out of the matrix, right? We use a movie reference. But what Elon Musk did on X yesterday is like They Live, right? When you put on the sunglasses and you can see who the aliens are. This was a They Live move on X. And this bring back Bush plot, it's not going to work because the American people are MAGA, and there are more MAGA each and every day. The whole MAGA movement with President Trump is so difficult for people to understand that are not a part of it. But the MAGA movement is the most obviously it's a political movement, but really what President Trump is leading with the MAGA movement is the largest civil rights movement in the history of the United States. Because we have all been held in bondage by the permanent Washington class, the leadership class that fits in all those things, the donors, the usual suspects. We've had an illusion of freedom. We've supported candidates who were pushed on us by the political establishment, whether they were Republican or Democrat. There was really no difference in them. They just said different things. And that's it. So the MAGA movement is a civil rights movement on top of being a political movement. And it's the most diverse there is. It's incredibly diverse when it comes to skin color, religion, gender. There's everything. Whatever you want to put to it, the diversity is there. And I've been going to Republican events long before the MAGA movement. And when you go to Trump rallies, it's an amazing thing going to Trump rallies. And I went to one of the very first Trump rallies in Florida, and it was still like going to a Republican event, right? Because it was mostly Republicans that showed up. We were in the primary phase. But very quickly, especially now, but very quickly, as you have gone to MAGA events, and this switched almost like a light switch in the first campaign. You started to see things at Trump rallies that you never saw at Republican events. A lot of people that weren't white, gay people, people that are legal immigrants. You know, in the past, when I would go to Republican Party events, there would be very few non-white people there. Sometimes you would go to your local Republican club. There would be a black guy there, and he would be speaking like he was Frederick Douglass in front of the group about how he escaped the Democrat plantation. It was so rare. And Rush Limbaugh, the late, great Rush Limbaugh, who I love and miss, years ago, he would get calls from black conservatives, and it was such a rare thing. He'd keep them on for 20, 30 minutes on the Rush Limbaugh program. So, you know, that's how these things, you know, but now it's different. And this has been something that has baffled the political establishment of both parties. They don't understand why this is. They're never going to understand it, but I don't care. I don't want them to understand it, and they don't need to understand it. They're just out. And this Bring Back Bush campaign that they're running, I don't know what kind of success they're going to get because, I mean, who do they got? The Bush family, even Jeb is old now, and no one cares about their kids that they're going to try to put up and all this stuff. They just don't have a great bench of people. Now, they're going to try. And let's not forget, even though Ron DeSantis, who betrayed President Trump and the MAGA movement and all of us MAGA voters in Florida, he betrayed us, he lied to us, and he's been doing great things in the last year, right? He's working to rid us of property taxes in Florida, which I hope is successful and all of this stuff. But he's still a Bush Republican, all right? If you go and get Ron DeSantis's book, he was recruited early on by the Bush family because he was the captain of the, where did HW go? Was it Yale? Yale, Harvard. I always get him confused which one. Where did DeSantis go? DeSantis was the captain of the baseball team. He writes about this in his book. I think it was Yale. And President Bush, HW, Bush 1, Bush 41, came to visit. He was captain of the same baseball team when he went to college there. And boom, that's when the recruitment of Ron DeSantis began. So Ron DeSantis is doing great things right now from a MAGA viewpoint, but I still don't trust the guy. And he's one of the people that this Bring Back Bush campaign have their eye on to nominate for president or vice president. There's others too, right? Last time they were really behind Nikki Haley, and they thought all the lawfare was going to stop President Trump from getting the nomination, but it hasn't worked out that way. But the Bring Back Bush campaign, believe me, is going strong and will continue to go to fight to get back control. We can't let them. And we really have this whole thing with Marjorie Taylor Greene. They wanted her out of the way. They wanted Charlie Kirk and his movement out of the way. You know, and Turning Point, they're still in business. I know they did this event last night with Erica Kirk and Megyn Kelly. It's not the same. And the loss of Charlie Kirk, which was so sad that someone so young was murdered by these never-Trumpers, okay, assassinated by this movement that's trying to get back control of the country from the MAGA movement. The Turning Point USA is in big trouble, right? I'm wearing a Charlie Kirk T-shirt right now. You know, one of the last photos taken of him is on this shirt. It's just sad. The whole thing's sad. And they assassinated Charlie Kirk as an effort to stop MAGA, mainly during the next presidential elections. And I'm telling you, it's not the same organization. We can tell ourselves all day it is. But Megyn Kelly, who's in her mid-50s, you guys might think she's hot, but she's not hot or interesting to these college kids. She's grandma, okay? You understand what I mean? They don't care about her. They don't connect with her. Okay, it's just not going to be the same. The only person I've seen do work with Turning Point since the assassination of Charlie Kirk that could have any impact, of course, is the vice president, J.D. Vance. He did a very good event with them recently. It was very impressive. No getting around it. But we really need not to, this thing that Elon did on X, exposing all these so-called MAGA people as being foreigners and such. It's so important for us to not get discouraged. You know, a lot of people, including some friends of mine that are prominent conservatives, are talking about we're going to lose the midterms. You know, that I don't, what the midterms hold, I don't know. But I know this, talking about losing the midterms, that is a sure way to lose them. If you're on hold, hang in there. If you'd like to call in, the number's toll free, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. The Brian Craig Show podcast is available on all podcast platforms. Wherever you get your podcast, just search for The Brian Craig Show and the program comes up. If you want to catch the show in video form and live, go to YouTube, and that's where you hear me taking phone calls. Go to YouTube, Brian Craig Show on YouTube or YouTube Music. You get the podcast in video form, and you can catch it live as well. All right, we're going to take our first break and be right back.
Luxury comes alive at vibrantpicspot.shop. Furniture that makes a statement, technology built to perform flawlessly, and decor that inspires every room, all in one place. Enter vibrantpicspot.shop and explore a world where elegance, innovation, and quality converge. Every product at vibrantpicspot.shop delivers style, sophistication, and lasting value. vibrantpicspot.shop, redefining modern living. Luxury and innovation come alive at Clarisy.com. From sleek furniture to advanced tech and elegant decor, every item is designed to impress. Clarisy.com delivers sophistication, comfort, and unmatched design for every corner of your life. Go to Clarisy.com now and unlock a world of inspiration and refined style. Clarisy.com makes every room shine and every moment memorable. Clarisy.com. Experience luxury differently. The wait is over. Infinique.co is officially open. Discover premium furniture, cutting-edge tech, and lifestyle essentials to inspire and impress. Celebrate with exclusive deals and hand-picked selections. Imagine the warmth and charm of Thanksgiving enhanced by Infinique.co, where every detail elevates your space. Deals on Black Friday become irresistible with Infinique.co, making luxury more accessible than ever. The magic of Christmas sparkles brighter when Infinique.co fills your home with gifts that truly inspire. Start New Year's 2026 in style and innovation with Infinique.co, guiding every choice. Punch in INFYNIQ.co and dive into quality, sophistication, and exceptional design. Infinique.co, where every celebration feels legendary.
Welcome back. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Brian Craig Show podcast. All right. Callers on hold. You hang in there. I wanted to share this. Yesterday was a very historic day. Those of you that are African American, yesterday in 1865, it had been the anniversary. Listen to this. The Democrats passed America's first black codes to impose what the Gateway Pundit says is near slavery on African Americans. Yeah, all those tests to vote and segregation. It all started in 1865 by the Democrats. It's a sad thing. It's an anniversary that the Democrats don't want you to know about. I have a very detailed article from the Gateway Pundit you can read through. It's on my X at Brian Craig Show. All right, I'm going to go to the phones, and I want to remind you that I have reorganized my studio here, and this is where I broadcast on the radio from and everything else during the week. And the reason I rearranged everything is to give me more desk space. You know, I have a really nice two-tiered standing desk that I use to broadcast from, and when I started broadcasting the radio show from home, I didn't make any changes, and I did Friday. Yesterday was the first morning with it. So it might be a little glitchy because not only is some of the equipment moved around, it operates a little different, and buttons are in places they weren't before. So my instincts on where to put my finger and what to touch, before I didn't have to think, right? My body just went here, went there, touch that button, touch that button. It was like a typist. So things are in different places now. So bear with me if things are a little glitchy. All right. I'll take some calls before I get to some more topics, but I got a lot more to cover, including this talk of Republicans and MAGA and President Trump losing the midterms that's going around. I want to talk more about that in detail. But first, I'll take some calls. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Bruce from Lake Worth.
Hey,
Morning.
what's up, Lake Worth?
I just wanted to, yesterday you had that rocket scientist that was calling you a liar and all this about when Trump doesn't sign a bill. He said it goes into effect in 10 days or something. The guy's an idiot. It's called a pocket veto, and the bill disappears, and that's the end
That's
of it.
correct.
These people.
What the pocket veto is, when a bill goes to the president, right? He can sign it, or he can veto it, or he can just let it sit on his desk and do nothing. And then after, is it 10 days? It's been a long time since we've talked about something like that. But after a certain amount of time, which may be 10 days, it's an automatic veto without signing it. And sometimes things are so media today, right? If to veto something or to sign something can be controversial, but just to let it on the desk and let it veto with the pocket veto and fade away is less controversial sometimes. So no, it doesn't automatically go into law if the president does not sign it. The opposite is true. But you know what, though? You know, that gaslighting caller, I was thinking, was he lying, or are they teaching that crap in school today? Right?
You never know. You never know. I mean, they teach all kinds of crap today.
They should. If they brought back Schoolhouse Rock, the America's Rock, it would solve a lot of this, because you would learn a lot about America just from. By the way, I started watching that Ken Burns History of the American Revolution series on PBS. I got through, this is not an exaggeration, I didn't get through more than 2 minutes of it. In the very beginning, I turned it off. It pissed me off so much. In the very beginning, he does a quote from Thomas Paine and then another quote from some Indian. And then they talk about how the Indians had a 6-tribe unified nation that was the first democracy in the Americas for hundreds of years before 1776. That's a bunch of BS. And when so our great founding fathers did not establish democracy in the New World. The Indians did hundreds of years before. I stopped watching it right there and said, if they're that accurate right out the gate, how can I trust anything else that's said?
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Ken Burns. I pretty much ignore the guy.
He, you say that, but he did a. I got some good information on him. He did a series, I don't know, 10 years ago or so on the Vietnam War, which was a multi-part series. And if you watch the part about the protest movement, he mistakenly exposes that the entire anti-war movement was fake. If you remember, the peak of the anti-war movement, where they had protests in all 50 states, was before Nixon was reelected to his second term. And after they had that nationwide protest against the Vietnam War, Nixon went on to win 49 states. And if the war was so unpopular, how did the pro-Vietnam War president win 49 of the 50 states after that? It was. I got some good, but this time, I don't. This documentary was not made for Trump's second term. It was made for Kamala or Biden's presidency.
Gotcha.
All right, appreciate the call.
Sure.
All right, take care. All right. So far, so good. Even though everything is in a different place than it was, so far everything's working. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
How you doing, Brian? Happy Sunday.
Yes.
This is Jose Vasquez. Jose from the Bronx.
Hey, Jose. What's up?
Just wanted to mention, like, I think a good replacement from Charlie Kirk. I mean, he's going to be irreplaceable no matter what. But the closest match that I think would be Steven Crowder.
No.
He used to do those videos.
Nope,
Like we
nope,
proved me wrong.
nope. Disaster.
Nope.
Disaster. First of all, he's Canadian, at least originally.
Oh, okay.
And remember that video of him with his wife on the back porch a year or two ago? Oh my goodness. And how and he did one thing that I don't like at all. Remember when he recorded that phone conversation with Jeremy Boring and all of that? No.
Oh, from the Daily thing.
And he's I don't watch him too much. I've seen him from time to time over the years. He seems like an egomaniac and a tyrant. And he sits there and he's got this peanut gallery of people that have to laugh at everything he says. He would not be a good person to replace our movement.
Got it.
Disaster.
Right.
That'd be a disaster. All right, take care. And not that I'm not saying that I disagree. I don't watch him enough to know what his positions are on many things, although I've seen him do some really good work. I'm not saying that Steven Crowder does not do good work, but there's really no one that can replace Charlie Kirk. See, this is what the Never Trumpers think the MAGA movement is. Turning Point USA, it's not that it's going to disappear tomorrow, but unless someone truly extraordinary comes along, it's going to lose its potency, right? It's like a prescription medication has an expiration date and then it's not as potent as it was when you first got it, right, from the pharmacy. That's what's going on, with Turning Point. And Turning Point is most definitely is an organization built around one man, the late, great Charlie Kirk. And it's falling apart without him there. And, the political establishment think the whole MAGA movement is like Turning Point. And that's why they have all these fake body counts from all over the world pretending to be MAGA that's disillusioned with Trump and disappointed with Trump, which is nonsense. And they're promoting all these narratives and things. The only person I see out there that would have a hope or a prayer of keeping Turning Point going at all is J.D. Vance. And I don't, he's planning on running for president, so, no, it's really a sad thing. I mean, we've got to admit when, we're not losing the war, but that was a big blow to us, okay? I wanted to finish what I was talking about before the break, too. I was talking about a lot of conservatives, I'm not talking about the fake ones, I'm talking about like real MAGA, are talking about how we're going to lose the midterm elections. There's no way to predict how the midterm elections are going to come out. No way to predict that. The way we win is to have a massive voting turnout. And remember, what the president told us in this last election was vote early if you can. I voted early this last time. You've got to vote early. Not only do we need a massive turnout, but you've got to vote early. And I'll tell you why quickly, and then I'll get into this talk and why it's very defeatist talk about the midterms. There's no way to know how we're going to perform in the midterms. We don't know. However, the reason you've got to vote early is because if you don't, on election day, the other side are millions of votes ahead. So if you wait till election day, not only do you have to have a massive turnout to win, you've got to beat them twice. You got to beat their early vote turnout and then build their day of turnout. So no, early voting's key. And one thing that's not really being factored into all this defeatist talk about the midterms, and believe me, this is not defeatist talk you're hearing here. I'm talking about the self-fulfilling prophecy that these people are possibly, trying to create. One thing they're not factoring in is all this great work we're doing on the deportations. There are going to be, incredibly low voter turnouts in a lot of places that usually have very high turnouts, especially like blue areas, right? They're with the illegals and everything else. And the deployment of ICE in these blue cities that's been going on this year is going to continue. So the Democrats are going to have a seriously depressed turnout, and a lot of their activist wing is not going to be doing their work because you see the stories out of California. People are afraid to leave their house to go to work or to the grocery stores. Illegals in California, many of them are basically under lockdown situations in many instances because they're afraid of deportations. That's not being factored in. But Mamdani, I believe personally, Mamdani won in New York for a number of reasons. Curtis Sliwa certainly played a big role in that. I'm talking about the general election. I'm not talking about the fluke of the primary. Curtis Sliwa helped a lot with that. But the main factor that gave Mamdani a victory is that since he won the primary, everyone, including every Republican, said he's unbeatable, he can't be beat. So what that does is depress turnout. And the media sold that. Now a lot of conservative and MAGA influencers, oh, he can't be beat. You know, a lot of people are obsessed with they don't ever want to be wrong, so they take a safe position. Mamdani can't be beat. But the media had been pushing that, and it reduced the turnout. So between Curtis Sliwa and the reduction in turnout, because people were saying he's unbeatable, he won. And if the talk was we could win this because he only won the primary on a fluke and going through all of this, the turnout might have been enough to stop Mamdani from winning. And for people that are going around saying, well, you know, we're going to lose the midterms, you're going to make it happen if you go in with that losing attitude because you're going to depress our turnout. We need to swamp them in the midterms, including with the early voting. All right? I'm going to vote early again, like I did last time. And I recommend everyone does. And don't let people tell you not to vote early. If someone's telling you not to vote early, they're probably fake MAGA. If they even claim to be that, they're probably just a Democrat. All right, back to the phones we go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Mike from Louisiana.
Hey, Mike, what's up?
You know, again, self-fulfilling prophecy, but here's the deal. Think about this now. We got people like Rasmussen and people like Rich Barris talking about, well, every 2 years, you know, in the middle of each administration, the House flips, right?
Yeah.
Historically speaking, right?
That's true.
This is, but it's true. But again, there are extenuating circumstances. For instance, you know, the extended temper tantrum that was done by the Democrats in the form of this shutdown. All right, people don't like temper tantrums like that. That's what that was. It was like you go into a Walmart or you know, and the kid sees the Hot Wheels and the kid wants the Hot Wheels, and what does he do? He throws a temper tantrum, and you know, old school parents would take them in the back and paddle them right then and there. You know, this is what happened. The Republicans told the Democrats, here's how it's going to be. We want a clean CR and nothing else. The Democrats decided we're going to shut down the government and we're going to throw our temper tantrums. So yeah, that's one thing. You know, you got these Democrats that are running against the 80-20 issues is another thing, right? Where a lot of this stuff like men's and women's sports and things of that nature are enshrined in their party platform.
Yeah, that's true.
And they're going to be running on that. So there are extenuating circumstances that could say, well, historically speaking, that could break history.
Yeah, that's true. All right, appreciate the call, Mike. Absolutely. If you're on hold, stand by. If you'd like to call in and you're watching live on YouTube, the toll-free number is pinned in the live chat. It's toll-free, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. It's the Brian Craig Show podcast. We'll be right back. On the line, we have Bruce. Bruce is a client of Jupiter Joe Thomas. He heard me talking with Joe Thomas about annuities and what a great deal they are, and he went in with his wife, and now he's a client. Hey, Bruce, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Brian.
So tell me about your experience with Jupiter Joe Thomas.
A fine gentleman. We sat down with Joe, and we explained everything to him, and we brought all our information, and he worked everything out great.
The cool thing about annuities is your money's never at risk. You're guaranteed a revenue stream for the rest of your life, but there's a bonus, really a signing bonus, where you can make a boatload of money before you even leave Joe Thomas's office. Can you talk a little bit about that, Bruce?
Well, that's where I was surprised when we sat down. We talked about the bonuses, and to my amazement, it was 10%, and there was even another one that's bigger.
Wow, that's amazing. So you made 10% on your money before you even got back in your car.
Yeah, it was more than that, but it was great.
Listen, guys, do what Bruce did. Give Jupiter Joe Thomas a call. You can set up a free consultation either on the phone or in the office, and Joe Thomas will put together a custom proposal just for you. His number is 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999, and online at jupiterjoe.com. All right, Bruce, thanks so much.
All right, thank you, Brian.
Are you looking for a gift that lasts a lifetime? One that's personal, powerful, and proudly American-made. At Back 40 Metalworks on Etsy, that's Works, W-O-R-X. They turn ideas into steel. Since 2010, Back 40 Metalworks has been crafting over 200 unique metal art designs, from wildlife and rustic decor to modern wall pieces and custom creations. With more than 30 years of experience working with metal, they know how to shape your vision into something extraordinary. Need a personalized welcome sign for your home? A company logo? A one-of-a-kind Christmas gift? Something for mom or dad on their day? Or any other day of the year? Every piece at Back 40 Metalworks is built to last, indoors or out, and every design tells a story, your story, in steel. Visit the shop online right now. Back40metalworks.etsy.com. That's W-O-R-X. And view the inventory. You will be impressed. Back40metalworks.etsy.com. They turn ideas into steel.
This is George Colony. I'm in the real estate business in Fort Lauderdale, Florida with Kai's Real Estate. I've been in business for 6 decades. People often ask me, what's the right time to buy or sell real estate? To tell you the truth, it's always the right time. You just need to have the right advice from the right advisor. You could call me anytime because I answer my phone on the first ring. My number is 954-801-7320. That's my personal cell phone number. And I answer it on the first ring every time. Please give me a call. I'm happy to answer any question that you have. My cell phone number is 954-801-7320.
All right, we're back. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Brian Craig Show podcast. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. All right, I'll take another call or two, and we got more to cover, including getting to the president's latest statements on the traitors and the Congress trying to cause a military coup, the latest on Marjorie Taylor Greene and more. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, good morning, Greg. How's it going?
All right, speak up.
Yes, I'm calling from California.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to say hello. I just became a fan of yours.
Oh, thank you. Welcome.
Okay, yeah. What topic were you discussing?
We're talking
about
a lot of things. We're talking about a lot of things. Marjorie Taylor Greene betraying the president and the MAGA movement, these Congress people trying to cause a military coup, the deportation, everything. We're talking about a lot of things today. You said you become a fan.
Oh,
What's made you a fan so quickly?
Well, I'm from California. It's as you can see, where are you located, in New York or?
I'm in Florida.
Oh, you're in Florida. Oh, okay. And Florida's a Republican state, right?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I became I used to be a Democrat growing up, I was fed up with those lies that, California, that Democrats are in the right, that Republicans just want to enrich the people on top,
Mm-hmm.
You know, and growing up, I started doing digging on my own and found out that
Where did you grow up? Where'd you grow up?
In the Central Valley.
Where are your parents from?
California. They were born in Mexico.
Yeah, I could tell because your accent. This is not a California accent. It's a new Californian accent that's got it's Mexican.
I sound Mexican.
Yeah, you sound like an immigrant. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. I mean, there's nothing wrong with sounding Mexican. I believe you, but this is one of the things that's caused all the problems in California. You know, California has been colonized by Latin America, right? And if you go back to how old are you?
I'm 35.
35. You're okay, maybe too young for this, but if you go back and watch some great movies that were based in Southern California, like Valley Girl or the original Karate Kid and things like that, the Californian accent has changed. It used to be like the Valley Girl accent or the totally stoked surfer accent to what a lot of people have said is a Los Angeles accent, which is kind of what you have, the Mexican, California, American mixed accent. You know what I mean? The change in the accents since the 1980s in California is what's led to a lot of the issues we have. But you're right about the differences between the Republicans and the Democrats.
So what do you mean by the accent? Well, I understand what you're saying with the accents, but what do you mean by
the accent? When people that we don't hear our own accents, right? But your accent is not an American Californian accent. Your accent, your accent, you sound like. And this is not an attack on you. Don't take if I'm going after you, you'll know it, guys. You're right. You're new to the program, but your accent you sound like an immigrant from Mexico who's learned English. Like English is your second language.
No, I was born here.
No, I know. I believe you. I believe you.
Yeah, my parents spoke nothing but Spanish and South Well, not. Yeah, I learned English in school. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I never noticed.
Wait. You learned English in school? I spoke English before I started school. What does that mean? You learned English in school?
Yeah, my first language is Spanish until the age of 4.
And you were born in California.
Yeah.
See, that's why you have the accent. If you go back, see, I was right, guys. See, a lot of people listen and think, oh, you're just hating on Mexicans, Brian. See, I was right. See, if you go back, I saw this the other day. This was interesting. When President Trump started his TV show, The Apprentice, Barron Trump, who's now a grown man, who's like 12 feet tall, he was just speaking, just learning to talk. And I saw a clip a few weeks ago. It was Entertainment Tonight or a show like that doing an interview with the president, and Barron came in and he had an accent like Melania Trump, like his mother. He had like that Slovenian accent, like he was Eastern European. But now he has a perfect American accent. So at some point, the president and Melania made sure that Barron had an American accent, not an accent like his mother. Right? I don't know how they did that. Or I don't know what happened, but something happened. And
I get what you're saying. Sorry for interrupting, but yes, I understand because he, for the first part of his youth, he was surrounded by
his mother.
What's her name?
Melania.
His mother. His mother. Yeah, mm-hmm. Melania, and yeah, and that does make a difference. You're right.
I knew a guy. I knew a guy who was an American, born an American, and he had a British accent, and he had a British accent because his parents were immigrants from England, but he was born here in Florida. But he had a proper British accent.
Oh yeah. I think the weirdest thing I've ever seen was it was a clip on the video clip on YouTube, and this white Caucasian male was he was raised in China, had American parents that were working over there, or whatever the reason was, and he spoke with an Asian accent.
Oh my
in
goodness!
English.
Really?
So
Yeah.
yeah, you could YouTube it. It's funny.
Oh, look at that. What kind of
You know, and I
accent?
never-
What kind of accent do you think I have?
A regular Caucasian
White boy accent.
American
white boy.
accent.
White boy accent.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with accents.
And I was no, there's nothing wrong. You know, everybody, and I never knew. I always thought I spoke American, but until I went to college. I grew up in the Central Valley.
Uh-huh.
I grew up in the Central Valley, so it's predominantly Hispanic, and it's either, well, especially in the town that I grew up in. I grew up in a small town, the Firebar, where Josh Allen is from.
Mm-hmm. Where who's from?
The quarterback.
Oh, I don't know. I don't
Josh
follow
Allen, the quarterback.
I don't follow sports. I'm sorry. News and politics is my game. If sports, I'm in South Florida. I can't tell you one player for the Dolphins. Okay, so you know.
No, it's okay. But yeah, it's predominantly Hispanic and white. But I noticed that I had an accent until I went to college and I started speaking. But I wasn't speaking where I grew up, my American side, you know. So that's when I knew. But it makes interesting sense.
Accents, if there's nothing wrong, hey, listen, that's America, right? We've got a diverse culture and diverse people and everything else, and
Yeah.
But that's a good thing, and California is really changing because, with all the deportations and everything going on, California is going to become a Republican state again. Two of the greatest Republican presidents are from California: Ronald Reagan and Richard Nixon, both twice elected.
Yeah, no, and I agree. The Central Valley's, because it's the northern, which is the Bay Area, then it's the Central
Valley. Like, what cities is the Central Valley? Like, what major cities that I would know are in the Central Valley where you're from?
Modesto, Fresno, Bakersfield.
Oh, okay. Sure.
So that's mainly the agricultural, where all the agricultural is at.
Yeah.
All the jobs and production and everything. And then Southern California is Bakersfield down.
Yeah.
So
okay.
It's, LA, San Diego, all of that.
Yeah.
Is Southern California.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, from south, middle, and north, there is a lot of differences. I even heard I don't know if it was a theory, but they were trying to, is that true? I don't know if you ever heard of it, that they wanted to separate California, make it a two-state. Like,
a lot of people talk about that, but that's not going to happen.
And I want to ask you a question too regarding gun ownership, because in Florida, it's a free free state to easily get a gun, right?
Well, no, there's federal requirements, right? If in Florida, you still have the 3-day waiting period when you go to buy a gun, unless you have a concealed weapons permit, and then you can leave with the gun. But we have open carry in Florida. Like, I can carry a gun on my hip, on my belt, anywhere I go in Florida. We have open carry in Florida. That's new. Open carry in Florida is just new this year. But I own a bunch of guns all over the house.
Yeah, I could tell. I see the news. A lot of crazy stuff goes out there. They don't play around over there in Florida.
Well, it's safe. More guns, less crime.
And what is so South Florida? Would that be Palm Beach or?
South Florida is Palm Beach South. Palm Beach County, Palm Beach, where the president lives. South is South Florida. And then above that's the Treasure Coast.
Is that county is where the sheriff, I admire him because he went out there, he called out some hoodlums, some gang out there, and then I think he became in Congress.
I'm not sure which sheriff that is.
Congress.
I'm not sure which sheriff that is.
No? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No,
but but I'll tell you, even though we have open carry in Florida, I haven't done it yet. I have a lot of guns. Some are, but I have not even bought. And you got to have a special kind. I have holsters, but they're all for concealed carry, so you can hide the weapon, because that's the way it was until this year. I don't have any open carry holsters. I keep putting it off. but I haven't done it yet. And the reason I haven't done it is I haven't seen anyone open carry in Florida since the law passed, and a lot of people don't know that that's the law. So it seems to me I would most likely run into trouble with that because not enough people know that open carry is the law. Hey, listen, I'm going to run, but welcome to the program, and call me again sometime, all right?
All right, no problem. Nice talking to you.
All right, nice talking to you. All right, nice guy. See that thing about accents? Pretty interesting. All right. Yeah, I'll take another call or two, then we'll move on. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, I'll take another call.
Oh, hello?
Yeah, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, I'm Mike, and I am from Illinois. I'm originally from California myself.
All right, what's up?
So I'm not too sure what your current topic is, but it also sounds like you guys were talking about guns, and I kind of hopped in as soon as I heard that.
Uh-huh. Well, what's on your mind?
Hold on. It's kind of hard to hear you.
Well, I can hear you fine, so you called me. What's on your mind?
The one thing that's on my mind, especially with things kind of getting in the way with our Second Amendment rights so far. I'm wondering if you're up to date with the carry and conceal law that possibly changed through the Supreme Court.
With the Supreme Court? No.
No. Was it Congress that did it? Or?
Well, no. I was talking in Florida. We had a law that just went into effect this year in Florida that allows us to open carry guns. But I haven't seen anyone do it. I've seen videos of people online doing it, but I have not seen anyone out and about doing it yet. That doesn't mean people aren't. I just haven't seen it. It's not widespread. I thought everybody would be carrying immediately, and no one is. That's why I haven't been doing it.
I see.
All right. Hey, listen, I appreciate the call. Welcome to the program. All right. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello.
You're on the air.
I'm calling from Seattle, Washington.
Hey, Seattle. What's on your mind?
I was just kind of wondering, I was hearing you talk about MAGA, and I never really know what the policies are. I'm a 46-year-old. I work in healthcare.
Yeah.
I'm in Seattle, so I can't afford to be a first-time buyer. I can't afford groceries.
Really?
So what does a great America look like for me?
Well, it's hard to have anything great in America in a liberal place like Seattle, Washington. You can't afford groceries? Are you going without food? Are you hungry?
No, sir. I'm eating pizza right now.
Well,
I have a full-time job, but it
well,
takes
then you
a
can't
lot
afford.
of,
Then you can't afford food. You said you couldn't afford food. Now you told me you can.
I'm eating, but it takes a lot of my monthly budget.
Oh yeah, well, and mine too. That's the way it is. You gotta, you gotta work and pay for your food.
What about the American dream of first-time home ownership?
Okay, you're not allowed to buy a home?
I'm allowed to buy a home, but the median price is probably $600,000, and if you make $5,000 a month.
Oh, guys crying poor mouth. Guys crying poor mouth. He makes $5,000 a month. How many of you don't make anywhere near that in the audience? While the median may be $600,000, that means there's a lot of homes a lot less than that. Right? Median is when, it's been a long time since I was in school, but median is when you, but median is where you list all the prices, and then you go to the middle, and that's the median price, right? So that means there's a lot of houses that are a lot less than that. Then you buy a house, you can, like right now, I own my wife and I, we live in Florida, not too far from the beach, and we have a nice house.
I grew up in Florida.
Okay, where in Florida?
Jacksonville.
Oh, well, that's not really Florida, but I know it's within the borders, but don't move to Jacksonville, guys, unless you want to be Jacksonville to Seattle. Oh my goodness. Blue crime-ridden city to blue crime-ridden city. I have a nice house by the beach, kind of close, not on the beach, but nearby. And we bought this house over 20 years ago. This was not my first home. My first home was a condo. My wife and I, we had a 2-bedroom condo. And we had that for a while, and then we sold it for about, twice what we paid for it and bought this house. You don't start buying, very few people's first home is the stereotypical.
No, we want a studio or a duplex.
We want
the investor's dream.
You want a studio or a duplex? Okay, well then go someplace where they're less than $600,000.
Right.
There's places If the median price is $600,000, that means half the homes are less.
Entry level. I might have misspoke. I'm probably talking entry
level 600. I don't think so.
In Seattle.
I don't know Seattle, but you don't have to live in Seattle. I mean, what's the entry level? What's the entry level home in Beverly Hills or Maui, right?
Yeah, it's high.
Yeah, exactly.
I lived in San Diego would be the dream.
Well, we all have dreams. I'm living the dream now in Florida. But you could get an entry level home for much less than $600,000. But you want to start out at the top. Like I said, I'm
a very humble guy.
My first home, I lived on a sailboat. Oh, my first home with my wife was our 2-bedroom condo. It wasn't as close to the beach as I am now. And it didn't have a garage or anything else. It was basically an apartment, right? A condo's an apartment that you own, right? Right? So you start out small.
Oh, yeah, I know.
In a city where you can afford.
Right.
You can't call from Seattle, from Maui, from Beverly Hills, or New York or Manhattan and say, I can't afford to buy a house in this. You got to move to a city where you can afford.
Right. Okay.
I mean, how is it? I don't. You talk about Make America Great Again. You really don't know what MAGA policies are?
No, not really. I hear a lot about deportation, and I'm kind of on board. I work in mental health, and we have a lot of
liberals.
Our social services are stressed to the max, right?
Yep.
So we simply can't afford to burden them more.
Well, here's the thing about home prices. One of the reasons home prices and rental prices are so high is because of the tens of millions of illegals that the Democrats have been bringing here that are taking up all the homes.
Well, also that we let foreign investment and foreign capital come in and take our higher priced homes out as well.
Maybe, yeah, sure.
The real estate lobbies and such.
That may be a factor, but the biggest factor is supply and demand, right? And you have tens of millions of illegals that come into the country. They're taking the rental properties. It's driven up property prices. That has frozen Americans like you out of homeownership. I know it's tough, I mention this a lot. I could not afford to move into my neighborhood now. I've lived here over 20 years, right? There's a guy down the street that's got a car that cost almost as much as I paid for the house, and he lives a couple doors down, right? So the property's gone up a lot, So I couldn't afford to move into my own neighborhood right now. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, I've seen that phenomenon. I know 20 years ago.
Yeah, but that's cool because when I retire or I keep the house and my daughter inherits it, it's a boatload of money.
Yeah. Well, I'm taking a lot of your message on board here, Brian. Like this city may just not be the spot for me. I do have a good paying job at a university hospital. So I don't know if I could find a job in a smaller market.
That's true.
That would
I had a friend here in South Florida. Prices are very high for homes in South Florida at a certain level, right? And when you sell your home, like if I were to sell my house, I could easily buy another house here because the prices are comparable, right? I made a lot of money on this house. I put it in the same house. But there's other places like in Florida where, you could buy a house that cost $100 and something thousand in nice areas in northern Florida. right?
Yeah.
It's all where you live, and in
Yeah, I'm not afraid of northern Florida. I know it's the South, and Jacksonville is riddled with crime.
Oh, no, do not move to Jacksonville.
Is riddled with drug abuse, and that's a big thing. I work for a company housing the homeless and the drug addicted, and it's tough.
Why do you want to own a home? Why do you want to own a home?
Well, just the basic, I'm 46, so retirement, it's a piggy bank strategy, right?
Yep.
I throw my rent away. One day, my mother retired at 65, and I don't know if retirement is in the books for me if I don't do responsible financial planning.
Yeah.
So that's what making America great means to me.
Well,
is being a son of a Navy vet
mm-hmm.
and a nurse.
Yep.
And they had a nice house, and they could raise 2 kids.
Yep.
And have 2 cars and a in-ground swimming pool. And if you did a little sweat equity yourself, then that is a good America.
Well, things change. Things change.
I rent in Seattle.
Things change. Like my mother has lived in the same house since 1984, 85, and she lived. My mother. This is the house I grew up in, where my mother lives. She's retired, right? She's in her 70s. She lives close. She doesn't live on the beach, but she lives closer to it than I do. She paid.
Right. That's a dream of mine.
She paid $67,000 for her house.
Yeah.
$67,000. The houses next to her.
State?
It's in Florida. She lives in Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
Okay.
And Fort Lauderdale, Florida, the house she paid 67. My recollection is she paid 57, but she tells me she paid 67,000 for it. Either one, that's pretty cheap.
Yeah.
And
same.
Yeah, and the houses next to her are going for over $600,000. Her neighbors now. So real estate always goes up. Real estate is always the best investment.
They're not making any more of it.
Any more land, yeah. So I get it. But you know what? When my mother paid $67,000 for her house, that was a lot of money when she bought it in 84, 85 in that neighborhood. It's comparable.
Yeah, what was the average wage back then?
I don't know. What was the average wage in 1985? I don't know.
I don't know. I make $30 an hour, and I feel like I'm just getting by with paying rent and
well, if the money that I earn, what I earn today, if I earned in 1985 what I earn today, oh my goodness, I'd be considered a rich man, right?
Yeah, that was me growing up, and I grew up on the Georgia-Florida border there, and just over the Georgia border. But yeah, I thought if I made $20 an hour back in 1997, that's not even $60,000 a year. I felt like I'm doing fine.
How old are you? You said you're 46.
$60,000 a year in Seattle.
Yeah, it's nothing anymore.
Doesn't go anywhere.
It's paycheck to pay. I remember when I first. I'm a little older than you. I'm 9 years older than you, right? Or 12 years older than you. But when I first got out of my professional career and started working in radio, my goal at the time was if I could only make $300 a week. If I could find a job making $300 a week, I'd be set, right?
Right.
And I had
my first rent was $200 a month.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I had an apartment that was $365 a month rent. I had a roommate, and it was at the beach in Fort Lauderdale. But that was a long time ago. Prices go up, but the problem is, it's not just that you're in an expensive state. You're in a blue state. Everything in blue. I don't think you have a state income tax in Washington State, do you? You don't have a state income tax.
No,
there.
we don't. We do not. No.
Yeah. Do you have when it comes?
Which is good.
I'm
all about no state tax.
That's one of the only blue states that does not have a state income tax, which we don't have in Florida. But yeah, I know it's because some people are like, well, like I'll tell you, I work with Steve Kane in the mornings. In 1990, he took a job doing a morning radio show in New York. He was doing an afternoon radio show in Miami. He was paid more money in New York but his take home was less because of the the cost of living was higher, the taxes were higher, plus he had to pay union dues. So he was on paper before everything he was making a lot more, but he was actually bringing home less. You got, so if you move somewhere and you're making less money, you still may come out ahead.
The buying power.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like last time I visited Jacksonville, I could just tell the prices were just half for everything, half at the pump, half for a beer in a bar, half for a meal at a restaurant.
Yeah.
The prices were just half.
Yes, exactly. But if you're in my part of Florida, it's more,
Right, you're in southern Florida,
mm-hmm. Yeah, South Florida. A lot of time, and a lot of it's supply and demand. I'm planning on going to the 4th of July celebration with my daughter in Washington, D.C., because it's the 250th anniversary. And I made a hotel reservation yesterday. It was not easy. I'm going to be with
Washington, D.C. is very expensive, right?
Well, I'm going with my daughter, and she's going to bring someone with her, right? So I'm getting 2 hotel rooms, and I don't want to be too far away, and I'm trying to be within kind of like walking distance of the National Mall, the Capitol, the White House. Wednesday through Sunday, 2 hotel rooms, they want like $4,000.
Oh, wow.
That's what I told I said, that's crazy. So I did find something that was a better price, but I don't know if that, I got to do some, I made the reservation, but I don't know if I'll say, I mean, that's, it's just the way it's, because the reason the hotels are so expensive is because demand for the 4th of July week is very high because we're going to have this 250th celebration. So, but if I went there this weekend, it'd be less than half, right? Right, So it's supply and demand.
The Patriot, to be in Washington D.C., something important to take your kids to.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah. Well, listen, we've had a good conversation. Welcome to the program. Hope to talk to you again sometime.
Yeah, thanks for enlightening me on some things.
All right, take care. All right, we've had some nice people today, huh? Yeah. If you're on hold, hang in there. My name's Brian. This is the Brian Craig Show podcast. The number to call in is pinned in the live chat if you're watching live. It's a toll-free call, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. We'll be right back.
This is Dr. Philip Appleton. I'm a chiropractic physician. I've seen thousands and thousands of patients in my career. I've been a chiropractic physician here in Pompano Beach for 40 years. We're open 6 days a week. If you have sciatica, you have bursitis, you have tendonitis, you're tired of taking the pills, the drugs, the injections, and you heard that you have to live with it, well, there's a lot of times you don't have to live with it. I've had great success with helping people. My testimonials are marvelous with patients. They love the treatment because no injections, there's no medication, there's no surgery. There's none of that. It's strictly either the laser or the acupuncture I do or shockwave therapy I do. Open 6 days a week. Come in for the free consultation and be willing to look at you and help you.
Take advantage of that no-charge consultation with Dr. Appleton. Remember, appointments are not necessary and walk-ins are welcome even on Saturdays. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonChiro.com.
We're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, this is Hank from Hollywood. How you doing?
All right, Hank. What's on your mind?
I called Tom Laporta at Tom Laporta Roofing. He sent out Scott. Now, Scott is absolutely the best. Scott and Scott's crew are the absolute best. They gave me a great price. They did the job when they said they were going to do it. They finished the job when they said they were going to do it. The materials they used, absolutely the best. I want to thank Tom. I definitely want to thank Scott and definitely want to thank Scott's crew. These people are number one. And I just want your listeners to know, Tom Laporta at Tom Laporta Roofing. If you need a new roof, call Tom at Tom Laporta Roofing. You're not going to go wrong. You're not going to be disappointed.
Do what Hank did. Call Tom Laporta at Laporta Roofing on his cell phone, 954-604-4602, 954-604-4602, and online, LaportaRoofing.com.
On the line, we have Gina. She's a client of Jupiter Joe Thomas. Gina, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you, Brian?
I'm doing great, thanks. So you went and met with Joe Thomas about annuities, Can you tell me
Yeah.
about your experience?
I can't say enough good things about my experience with Joe Thomas. He's a straight shooter. He tells it like it is. He talks in plain language so that you know, because I didn't know anything about this stuff when I retired. So I walked into his office, and immediately I felt comfortable. And I said, look, I know nothing about this. I don't want to lose my shirt. So please guide me in the right direction so that I'll be set. And he sure did. And I'm very happy that I went there. And I even got my mother to join, too. Now I feel comfortable that I'm set, and I don't have to worry about running out of money.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than running out of money before you run out of life, right?
Exactly.
Give Jupiter Joe Thomas a call and schedule your no-charge consultation. His number is 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999 and online, jupiterjoe.com. All right, Gina, thanks so much.
Thank you, Brian.
All right, we're back. I'm Brian. It's the Brian Craig Show podcast. Great calls today, by the way. Isn't it nice to have some conversations? Oh, man. Yeah, good conversations, too. Remember, the Brian Craig Show is available on all podcast platforms. Wherever you get your podcast, just search for The Brian Craig Show, and the program will come right up. If you want to catch the show live and in video form, that's on YouTube. Go to YouTube and search for The Brian Craig Show or YouTube Music, all right? Now, all of you people out there that have the dream of home ownership, you know, new sponsor that joined us this month on the program is George Colony. And he's our real estate guy. He's been in real estate forever, and I've known him. He hasn't known me, but I've known him pretty much my whole life because he's a top real estate guy here in Florida, and I've seen his name everywhere growing up in South Florida. And if you've got any questions about real estate, he is your guy. And if you're looking to move, if you're looking to sell, if you're looking to buy a home or any type of property, give George Colony a call. This number rings directly to his cell phone. You can call or text 954-801-7320. 954-801-7320. That's 954-801-7320. All right? That dream of home ownership, give him a call. He'll help you out. Okay. So President Trump's commented on this military coup a couple times now, that these congressmen did. And this is what the president posted to Truth Social. The traitors that told the military to disobey my orders should be in jail right now, not roaming the fake news networks trying to explain that what they said was okay. It wasn't and never will be. It was sedition at the highest level, and sedition is a major crime. There can be no other interpretation of what they said. He is spot on and right on the money. And what they were really talking about, or talking to, they were talking to members of the service that will be deployed in American cities. And a lot of people are saying, well, what's wrong with saying that you don't have to follow illegal orders? The context in which you say anything is important. Context is important. And the context in which they said it was just that, right? Going into these blue cities, that's illegal to them. You don't have to obey those orders. They were trying to cause a military uprising. And you know what? They might. While recruitment is high and we're getting a lot of good people in the military is still filled with a bunch of wokesters that came in during the Otto Penn administration. This is very dangerous what they did, and they were encouraging them to rise up. You know, freedom of speech, we do not have total freedom of speech in this country. I talk to people a lot because they don't understand. You know, what I do for a living, I'm in the free speech business. However, there are limitations. You cannot incite violence. There's no freedom to incite violence against others, which is what this was. And remember a few years back, there was a girl who was arrested, tried, and convicted in that texting death case, right? What she did with her boyfriend through the text, she was convicted. Remember that? There's no question what they did was to cause disruption or maybe rebellion inside the military. And if you look, everything the Democrats and the Never Trumpers and the Republican establishment, every single thing they've done to President Trump to try to stop him from the time he came down the escalator is to try to get people to turn against him. In the first segment of the program, that's what I was talking about with this revelation we got from Twitter, from Elon Musk, X. I still call it Twitter sometimes. And they're trying to turn the military against the president. That's exactly what they were trying to do. And I don't expect them to confess, but they're making it worse by continuing to go on television. And one thing, I don't know about the status of all of them, but Senator Kelly is a retired captain from the United States Navy, the astronaut. And I did some research about this on Thursday, and then I got a call on Friday's show from a retired attorney, a lawyer who's retired from the military, who was a JAG officer, and he told me I was right about what I'm about to tell you. And this is what I found out. I'm no legal expert or anything. I just looked it up online and read a couple articles about it, and this former naval lawyer backed me up and said this is absolutely correct. When you're retired from the service and you're receiving a pension, right, like Senator Kelly receives a pension from the Navy, when you're retired and receiving a pension, you are still accountable to the Uniform Code of Military Justice, the UCMJ. And I don't know about the others, but I know Kelly is still subject to that. And he very well could find himself facing charges. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? All right, hold on. We'll try this one. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Brian. My name is Al from Illinois.
Hey, Al. What's up?
Hey, I just want to tell you, man, I really enjoy your show, and you really have done a great job supporting MAGA and Trump over the years, and I really appreciate you.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
I called you, it's been maybe a month or a month and a half ago, and I mentioned military tribunals, and you said, that's never going to happen. I was wondering if you'd kind of maybe changed your view on that a little bit.
No, this is not a tribunal. You know, this would be some, in Kelly's case, if it were to happen, he'd be recalled to active duty and face disciplinary actions or an investigation or a court-martial. It's not a military tribunal. I do not support military tribunals of civilians, no.
Well, in some cases, though, when they take remember back in the hearings with Kavanaugh, when they asked him about when Graham was talking to him and he asked him, can American citizens be classified as enemy combatants? And he said yes. Mm-hmm. So, the point of it, the whole thing is that the civilian courts have really proven that they are really a roadblock to justice. I mean, there are good judges, good lawyers, but boy, there's some
but you know what though? You're right. Activist judges, but the system has worked. Exactly. But the system has worked through the appellate process. Either higher courts and the appellate system have upheld President Trump's authority, or the Supreme Court has. So the system has worked.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a combination because what has happened with the 20 million illegals is it really was a soft invasion that was sponsored by the Democrats.
That's right.
We'll see how it plays out, but we don't disagree. We're just kind of a little bit.
No, first of all, listen, we have great leadership in the military right now with the president and with Pete Hegseth and General Kane. However, the upper ranks of the military are still filled with liberal idiots. I mean, remember when Pete Hegseth, the war secretary, summoned all of the generals and admirals a few weeks back, and he was on stage talking about how they couldn't even pass basic fitness tests, right? And they got to maintain regular fitness training and such as well. The military, more of the leadership. I'm not talking about the war secretary or the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, General Kane. You get down in the lower general ranks, there's still they're majority of the same mindset as Milley. So when you talk about government work, when you get to the rank of above major, the promotions are very political. You get into the general and admiral ranks, those promotions are done through congressional committee. These are political people, like the federal judges. And this John Grisham fantasy that so many people talk about with military tribunals is complete insanity. It'd be more woke and liberal and activist than the federal judges, you'd find out. And it's dangerous.
Yeah, I do agree with a lot of what you just said. That it is totally true. It's just like the civilian courts have done the same thing, and we'll see how it plays out. But I think I just personally think, like for example, what the Congress people did is in the jurisdiction of the military, because it's actually, they're calling for an uprising basically in the military, a revolt.
No, you don't want that. I mean, listen, this is no. The military answers to civilian authority. That's what you want. What you're talking about is would buy into what they want, which is, listen, Peter Strzok in his text messages with his girlfriend Lisa Page. Lisa Page said she went out and got a copy of All the President's Men, and that was going to be their guidebook to take down Trump. That was in the beginning of his first term, right? What they're doing now is they're trying to live 7 Days in May, the Burt Lancaster movie with Kirk Douglas. Go watch it. It's a great movie. 7 Days in May. It's about a military takeover of the United States, but they were attempting to do it in a way that made it seem legal, like you're talking about. And you don't want, the military answers to the civilian authority, and that's how you want it.
One thing I would say is I think that the military has different factions within itself too, and I think certain branches and certain aspects of it are less affected by the woke virus than others. I think a lot of the support for Trump over the years has been from military
Are you kidding?
intelligence.
Listen. Pete Hegseth's doing a great job, and I'm not talking about the rank and file. I'm talking about the upper ranks. I could not believe, when I remember when Vindman came in to testify when he was still in the Army. And he came in, there were two things wrong with him. One, he was in the wrong uniform. They changed the Army changed their uniform to that World War II era uniform that they wear. He came in wearing the previous uniform, so he came in the wrong uniform, and he's fat. And I couldn't believe it, And I mean, come on, the upper ranks of the military are filled with wokesters, even still. There's been some purge, but not enough to turn over the. First off, even if we had a perfect admiral and general rank and file in all the branches, you wouldn't want to turn the government over to. I don't know how this started, where military tribunals. A lot of people have been talking about this for years that are MAGA. I don't know who started that or how it started, but that. I don't know why you would trust any government agency like that. Why not the post office? You want anything that's run by the government with government workers, whether it's the military, whether it's the post office, it's the bureaucracy. These are militant leftist activists that have infiltrated these things. And Pete Hegseth, they may have gotten rid of a lot of them, but there's still a lot of them there.
Well, I'm in agreement with you there. We'll just have to see how it plays out. I think, whereas a month and a half ago it wasn't even on the radar, there is, that tweet that's behind you. At least
when's the last time there was a military tribunal that you know of civilians?
Wow, good question. I can't tell you.
The last one I know of was during the Second World War, where they captured some Americans that went to Germany and became spies for the Germans in the war. That's the last one I know of. Wow. There were five Americans of German descent who went to Germany when Hitler took over and then came over here to spy and do terrorism, and they all got caught, and they went up before a military tribunal. I wonder, Tokyo Rose may have gone in front of a military tribunal. Remember Tokyo Rose? Maybe. I can't swear to that. She did 10 years in prison. Maybe, but that might have been a federal court. No, I don't understand. Listen, as conservatives, we distrust the government. Remember what Reagan said, the scariest, however many words? I'm from the government, and I'm here to help you. Scariest words you ever heard? You see these federal judges. How could you trust people in the military to be judge, jury, and executioner? No, it's crazy. Bad idea.
Yeah, we'll see how it plays out.
Okay.
We'll see how it plays out.
All right.
I don't disagree with you.
All right,
Yeah.
take care. Great call. Great conversations on the program here today, I must tell you. Thanks so much. It's nice. I'm used to talking the jerk so much on the phone. Sometimes it's a little tough for me to have a conversation on the phone with a listener who calls in. That's a normal conversation, right? Now, listen, if you'd like to support all of my content that I bring to you, become a Patreon supporter. There's a link to my Patreon page in the description of whatever platform you're listening on, or you can go directly to the website, patreon.com/Real Brian Craig Show. And if you become a Patreon supporter, you get access to commercial-free editions of all of my podcasts. My wife and I post a lot of things to the Patreon platform that you see nowhere else. Plus, I also do live streams just for Patreon supporters on the Patreon platform. So if you're a paid Patreon supporter, you get access to all these things. And the live streams I do for Patreon supporters, they're on the Patreon platform, and it's a no troll zone. And I'm a little more relaxed on those than I am here. All right, you get more out of me that sometimes I probably shouldn't even share, but I share it with you guys on Patreon. And if you become a top Patreon supporter, you get a live on-air thank you shout out on every episode. The names you'll hear now are my top Patreon supporters. I want to thank SF Jr., Christine, some of these names you see in the chat room, right? ETW, Chuck, Pamela, Nick, Wesley, Doris, Heather, David, Maria in Texas, Alice, Lee Zepp, Shauna, George, Brandon, John, Frank, Dale, Tina, David, Laura, Rob, Wes, Sue, Janice, Teresa, and Irene. These are my top Patreon supporters. Thank you all. Also, if you're new to the program, make sure you subscribe or follow on whatever platform you are on. And if you're already subbed, do me the favor of liking the video and sharing the video on all your socials, and invite your friends to become a part of the community. It's the Brian Craig Show podcast. My name is Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Thanks for listening. I will talk to you next time. Take care.